So secondly, you might want to check the thematic areas. So the first thing is, if you go to Google, you can just type partnership for skilled in applied science, engineering and technology. So I already have it here. Is partnership for applied skill, engineering and technology. So this is like the official website. So if you get to the official website, usually what I do is I get to the official website first, then if you scroll down, it will definitely tell you everything about the scholarship. And if you check, they'll tell you at the moment you have call for scholarship now. So PhD scholarships are available for 3 to 4 years training in applied science, engineering and technology. So you just might want to check more on it. So when you click on more, this is what it shows you. So usually most of the scholarship websites in Africa are usually designed in this way. So you might just want to click on apply now. How to apply? Usually what I look for, I struggle to look for when is the deadline to be sure if I can put my documents together as fast as possible. So the deadline here is the 15th of June. So that means you have just 1 month to put your documents together. Then the second question you should be asking yourself is online? Is the application online, or you have to post your documents? So it's written, the second point here is complete online application form and submit with the required documents through online here. So this means the 1 month time is good enough for you. So secondly, you might want to check the thematic areas. So within the thematic areas, you have these 4. I for instance, I remember during my bachelor I studied environmental science, so this would be good for me. It doesn't mean you just have to. It doesn't mean you must have studied climate change in your master degree. No, a related field is possible. So you check the criterias and then you go for it and you read. Then secondly, they'll definitely show you what university and what country you might be placed at. So this will be at Abidjan, Ivory Coast. So probably you might study in a French university, but that's not something to worry much about it. So secondly, another tip will be for you, usually you have to read about the background. The background, what is the background? What is all the program about? All what I'm mentioning here are the things that you have to mention within your cover letter when you want to write your cover letter. Like, what is the initiative and the goals? And then thirdly, you might want to look at the host institutions. If you're interested in knowing what are the host institutions, you have the Pan-African Institute here, theme mining. This one probably they might give you the university. Then you have the Kenyatta University in Kenya. You have Kenyatta University in Kenya, because usually you have the Kwame Nkrumah University too. Then you have another one, food security and business, is in East Africa. Then you have another one in Senegal, and the one of climate change and biodiversity, Center for Excellent Climate Change and Biodiversity. You might want to find out where this university is actually found at. So since this is a French university, probably someone who has someone who is bilingual or who studied in French and in English will stand a greater chance of being selected for this program. So I think that's just a tip. In English you can be selected for it. Then you have another center, African Center for Excellence in Dry Agriculture. I mean, these centers are really very amazing. You have the best technicians, teachers and professors in Africa and globally to teach you in this program. So this is how you can go about preparing for it before you start applying. Okay, now after checking that, you might want to go back home. Then you scroll back down to the call, because usually what I usually try to say is some require you might need to create an account in order to apply for it, and some usually don't require that. And usually it's very important that you check the frequently asked questions, because the questions or the doubts which you have might be the same like any other person, so it's good you check enough. And the criteria as well, it's usually good to check for the criteria. Secondly, I might go back to apply now. So once I get back to apply now, you see here, usually it's always the first stage, your primary information, your contacts and everything, then probably your passport. Sometimes if you don't have a passport, you might have to email the corresponding account, which is usually attached below, and ask them, is both a passport and ID which are required. So one more tip is same GPA, same point. I think the person who already has a passport might be given an upper hand. That's just a tip. So, but it doesn't mean if you don't have a passport you cannot apply. It all depends, So okay.